friends, this is the Bijou Baker. I'm Maria. Today I'm going to show you how to make chocolate ganache. It is one of the most decadent chocolate treats you can make. It's a great filling for your cakes, inside your cakes, usually, or cupcakes. When I make cupcakes, I almost always make a filled cupcake. And so I'll put some of this just inside, like a chocolate cake with chocolate ganache inside, and then whatever on top that I want to put. This is really, really simple, and it's rich. I have a German chocolate cake that I'm going to make, and I will show you that recipe, and I will show you how to make that cake. But I'm just kind of making this chocolate ganache now for the. It's kind of like a fudgy icing, but it's not fudge, but it's thick and rich like that. It's not like your buttercream or whipped cream. It's much more condensed and powerful and so good. But this is also the recipe that you use to make truffles, those little wonderful decadent balls covered in a bunch of different things. So we'll get to that later, but for here, let me just show you what I've got going so far. Okay, so I've got 1 cup of heavy cream that I'm going to bring to a low boil. Once it boils, it's going to rise up. We don't want that far. So as that's getting warm, I'm going to keep an eye on that. I also have 1 cup of chocolate, a little bit of coffee, and some vanilla. Now, the chocolate that they say you should never use chocolate chips, I do, and it's amazing. Of course, whenever you use a higher grade product, the quality is gonna be different. I'm not gonna complain about this one, that's for sure. But when I do use a high grade chocolate, I will get a better product. But for the most part, it's really close. So I've got a bunch of these chocolate chips, so I'm gonna use them. So here's what we're gonna do. Like I said, we're gonna get this to. I've got that on a low heat. Let me pick up the heat a little bit, not a lot. You have to really take your time with this baby. So let's see, how's that? All right. So you're gonna need a whisk because that's what's gonna, once you get this going, you're gonna start mixing it in pretty good, and it's just constant stirring that's gonna melt everything and make it nice. You could also do it with a let's see, if you had a bain-marie, which is just a fancy word for a double boiler. You could do it that way. Now let me explain something to you about double boilers and how it can get dangerous if you don't really know the depth. Okay, so you have your pot with water in it, and then you have a bowl on top of it. You need a big gap. You never want your boiling water to touch your glass bowl. It'll crack and it'll break. I mean, it won't just crack, it'll shatter. So and then you're just going to lose everything in the bowl, and what a mess. So you've got your pot of water. The water is only about an inch or so high, because it's the steam that's cooking it. The steam is a lot hotter than boiling water. Strange, right? But that's why your bowl will crack. So you got your pot, and then you got about an inch or so of water, then you have a gap, and then you have your bowl on top. Now, this particular pan, I love this pot because it's sturdy, it's heavy, it's a good heavy pot, and that's kind of what you want. You want to stay away from the aluminum pots when it comes to this kind of stuff. It's just not going to give you the right heat. It's just now starting to, I don't know, can you see this good enough? I don't know. It's just now starting to crust up just a little bit, and it's starting to move under there. But let me get back to you. You see the edges of these pots, how it's got a little pouring spout? Well, the reason that's not going to be good for a bain-marie is because you need okay, I'm going to keep an eye on that. You need the bowl to really flush up with the top of your pot. Okay, so if you have it, if you have a bowl and you've got this thing with the spouts on the end, then the steam is going to come up from there, and you're not going to really get a good fit. the steam's going to come up from the sides. It'll go up because steam rises. And then depending on, you know, what's going on in the air, if it falls back inside your bowl, especially if it's chocolate, you'll break your chocolate and you'll just ruin it. So make sure that the bottom of your bowl fits really as nicely as you can to the top of your pot. Okay? So let's get back to watching the milk boil. Yeah, this is what I do for fun, right? Okay, so I'm gonna spin you around here because I can see better on this side, all right? So can you see? Now I can't see what you can see, but there's a little bit of a film right there, okay? That's fine. Sorry. Stick with me, baby, I'll take you places. All right, it's just, you can see inside. I don't know what you can see, but there's little movement going on, which means that the heat is starting to really do something, but it's not quite boiling yet. And I don't want it to boil. Once it starts to even look like it's getting ready to lift, I'm gonna shut this baby down. So until then, let me just go ahead and hold on 1 second, all right? Okay, it's starting to really move inside there. So I want you to see exactly where I'm gonna stop it. I'm gonna keep going. Boy, I don't know if you can see this. Let me know if you can see this, because then I'll know exactly when to stop talking. First off, that'll never happen, just so you know. All right, I'm going to lower the heat just a little bit, and I'll check back. Okay, so you can see around the edges it's starting to bubble, and you want to stir it a little bit because you don't want the milk to stick to the bottom. And it's getting pretty warm, and I can see some steam coming off of it, which is making me really happy. And again, I want to catch it just before it starts to rise up. And take your time with this, because it will pay off in the end. And do not, please do not step away from your pot at this point, because it'll shoot up real quick. And I can see the edges starting to bubble. And I'm going to turn it off here. All right. It's good and hot. And I'm going to just add the chocolate chips. That was stupid. And I'm going to let it sit for just a minute. Now, as it's sitting, I want to talk to you about a trick I use with chocolate. Anytime, unless I'm cooking for my grandkids because they can't stand the taste, but anytime I am making chocolate, I use a little bit of coffee. Coffee will pull out that chocolate flavor. So you can get away with using less. Don't do it. I think it's against the law in some parts. It'll pull out that chocolate flavor and really just kick it up to another level. Remember, I'm a huge fan of flavor layering, so keep that in mind. And so we're using chocolate here. Just we're using chocolate in the chocolate ganache. We're good like that. Coffee, and this is just coffee that I had. I had a couple tablespoons left over from this morning's cup, so I wouldn't use espresso. Sometimes that's just a little too powerful. But if you really love that chocolate, that coffee, yeah, get those words right, Maria. Come on. If you really love that coffee flavor, then use espresso. I probably won't, but I'd let you know if it's going to be used. So, all right. So it's good. It's melting. You can see this. And it's thick. So I'm just going to stir this. And the reason I'm spinning it like this is because I really want to get the corners of the pot. And right now it kind of just looks like chocolate milk. You see these that just looks unappealing. That's all right. Don't you worry about little things, Missy. This is the stuff dreams are made of when it's done. Okay, so it's not, see that? Oh, hi, beautiful. Okay, so this is where, when it's still thick but runny, I'm going to add the coffee and continue to stir this just a little bit. And then I'm going to add some vanilla. And you know me and some. You know me and vanilla. I'm going to say some. And that's it. I'm just going to keep stirring. It will all come together so nicely. You can just see how rich that is. It's still running, but it's going to thicken up. And then I'm just going to put it into a bowl to cool. I can keep it in here, but this pot, because it's so thick, it's going to retain the heat for quite a while. So especially if I'm in any kind of hurry, I don't want it to stay on that heat. All right, that's it. Let me see. You see that? That is just, it's thicker because of the heavy cream. Man, that smells good. That smells so good. And yeah, I'm going to. Oh, don't use chocolate chips. Ha! Okay, once it's cooled, I'm going to show you a couple of the different things that you can do with it. This is something you're going to want in your arsenal. I'm telling you, this is a great thing to have. And there you go. You've just made chocolate ganache in a whip. All right, my friends, until next time, have a great day. Happy baking.
Ah, that was fun. Don't forget to like and subscribe.